Machiavelli. It's bad enough she limits our screen time, but then to make a password go play outside? Today, I wanted to talk about technology. And in that instance, the mom in the cartoon used the concept of Machiavelli, which I'll describe now. Nicolo Machiavelli was born on the 3rd of May, 1469, and died the 21st of June, 1527. He's an Italian Renaissance historian, politician, diplomat, philosopher, humanist, and writer. He was considered the founder of modern political science, and this all stemmed from his writing The Prince, which functions on the general theme of accepting that the aims of princes, such as glory and survival, can justify the use of immoral means to achieve those ends. One of the notable quotes is, "He who neglects what is done for what ought to be done sooner affects his reign than his preservation." Now, I'm going to seem to contradict myself by talking about this comic strip because the mother wants the children off the television, off the iPad, computer, what have you. Go outside and play. Well, that's kind of what this student from CCSU did. Do you recognize the shirt? Does that look familiar to you? Teen speaks about drones. And this article talks about a recent thing that happened at my alma mater of CCSU, where Austin Hogwood of Clinton made a viral video on YouTube about a drone that was equipped with a handgun and a flamethrower. So I'd say maybe the goal didn't necessarily show up as they were making that video. Let me show you a clip.
This is the video that caught federal investigators' attention. Police say 18-year-old Austin Howard of Clinton, Connecticut, is the mastermind behind this homemade gun-mounted drone. The video posted to YouTube gained more than 1.7 million views. One person writing, quote, "Strange and a scary thought for someone to be using a drone to carry a firing gun."
The CNN video went on to say that the student used the gun and drone on his own private property, which is not against federal law. However, it might be against the company of the drones law. So they're looking into that further. But what I want to see is where the student's mindset was and how think it's not illegal yet is important, and how we can teach students the rights and wrongs before they go into something like this. So further on in the article, the student said, "It's already illegal to assault, it's already illegal to murder, it's already illegal to recklessly danger the public. Simply making something illegal won't stop somebody who has bad intentions." Now that's true. We've seen it all too many times. There's been how many murders, and we know that that's illegal. So why shouldn't drones equipped be illegal? Maybe it'll ward off accidents. We don't know. But having the idea out there, ideas are dangerous. I'm not going against education. Obviously, education is good, and education is filled with ideas. But having the ideas that these drones can be equipped with harmful things will only stand to harm others. Getting into my purpose of this video is the next article. The teen sues CCSU over his expulsion. And the reason this is important is because he explains himself here. Now, most of us want to make it big on YouTube and make viral videos just to try and get some money, or maybe get our names out there and get ourselves into the fields that we choose. This student wrote or said in the article, the purpose for making these quadcopters was simply to use basic engineering principles, which he learned. The reason for posting them online was to create discussion about uses for multi-rotors. And that's a good thing to enter discussion groups. But is YouTube the best way to enter a discussion group? As can be seen in many Mythbuster episodes, including this clip from Explosive Decompression Mini Myth, they often consult a police official to make sure that everything is safe and operating within legal standards.
Was a little bigger than expected.
I'm glad we were over there.
It may have been a good idea for Austin to consult the local police, even though it was on his own property. He probably should have included in his small, about 14-second video clip, the science behind it. Did he try to create his own drone or just use a company's drone as a starting point? What type of firing mechanism was there? What additions did he make to use his educational background? Anything that you can push the educational stuff instead of the violence is a good idea. In only pushing the fact that he was able to get it accomplished and only having a 14-second silent video, he did not teach anything about his engineering background. And, like, guns don't kill people, people kill people. But if the purpose was to explain some engineering principles, then he should have shared those principles. But that's just my opinion. When I went to learn some basic engineering principles, as the student in the articles talked about, I found that there are no real basic engineering principles. In learning Engineer Girl, she said, by engineering principles, we mean the ideas, rules, or concepts that need to be kept in mind when solving an engineering problem. However, there is no one specific list of engineering principles that can be written down or posted up on the web. That is because the concepts used to solve a problem will often be different depending on the type of problem encountered. The same can be said about teaching. Let's learn a little bit more about the method in which engineering problems are tackled. The figure here shows how one-dimension engineering spans from science to production, with engineering design as the central activity. So, as you can see, science goes to engineering science, engineering design, engineering technology, and production, whereas the vertical goes from politics to sociology and psychology, economics, back down to engineering design, industrial design, artistic design, and finally art. Now you can see how science and politics and production all have an artistic style associated with them. Figure 2 shows the steps in the design process and how these interactions with each other. It's not meant to be a comprehensive or applicable to every problem. This can be said about a lot of different variations, like Common Core mathematics, how it shows many different methods to get to the same answer. So this shows identification and formulation of a problem, with specification leading to either optimization or construction and a test. Back up to the ID part, going to existing information, which is something that we in the education field call prior knowledge. Then analysis and evaluation, and back up to ID, going to the utilization of ideas and model formation. All of this shows you need existing information in order to arrive at your final destination. And even if you're there, once you test it, it could not work and you have to start all over again. See what other new information you can find. Let me change out of this think it's not illegal shirt. What should you or Austin Hogwarts do or have done? Number one, make a blog about engineering principles using as many buzzwords as possible. It looks good on a resume. Number two, link practical applications of his engineering success to the real world. Number three, start an informative political and or moral discussion about weaponry and machinery. Number four, for bonus points, tie it to the Terminator franchise, iRobot movie, or loosely tied to the Transformers franchise.